Hey co-stars, welcome to Generation Films, British Ben here. Now, I have been binge watching Stargate on Netflix. It's the show where, no matter where you go in the galaxy, everyone speaks English.
I am Tanani.
I'm Frotak of the High Cliffs.
Do you understand me?
We speak many languages.
And while other shows like Star Trek Voyager, for example, waited until the third season to resort to sex appeal to draw in viewers, Stargate was just like, screw it, let's put boobs in the first episode. Yep, that's right, they were like, here, check out Daniel Jackson's wife's boobs, and please watch the rest of the series. We're not going to be showing boobs again, by the way. Anyway, we have done real-size videos for Star Trek, Star Wars, and it's really satisfying knowing how big these ships are in real life. Just like how satisfying it is watching those videos of objects fitting perfectly into other objects. There's an entire Reddit page devoted to that, by the way. But the same goes for knowing that the Enterprise E is exactly the same length as 2 cruise liners, or that the Millennium Falcon would fit inside an Olympic swimming pool. And we're going to do the same for the Stargate franchise. Now, I am not all the way through the series yet, so we're only going to include ships from 2 races in this video. We'll save the rest for future videos. First up, the Goa'uld Death Glider. The Goa'uld, the race that no one on the show can pronounce correctly.
Goa'ulds?
Goa'ulds.
Goa'uld.
Yeah, that's not how you say it.
I'm sorry, there should be an apostrophe after the A before the U. It's pronounced
Goa'uld.
That's better. Now, the Death Gliders were the main fighter of the Goa'uld, who are the main enemy in the show, at least early on in the series. And it's nice of them to put the word death in front of the name of the ship, so you know that it really is a bad guy ship. It works in every sci-fi franchise. The Death Glider was 27.9 feet, or about 8.5 meters long, and about 45 feet, or 13.9 meters wide. So it's pretty similar in size to a modern fighter aircraft like an F-35, except that it is wider than it is long. Here it is next to an F-35. Next to a private jet, it would look something like this. But if you're a simpler man and you can't imagine it next to an F-35 or a private jet, here it is next to your Uncle Cletus's pickup truck. The Death Glider features 2 staff weapons, similar to the Jafar staff weapon but more powerful, and like many modern aircraft carrier-based fighter aircraft, the wings could fold in to make the glider smaller in the hangar of the mothership. The Death Glider had 2 seats and featured a cockpit that could be boarded on the ground and would lift up into the ship. What an ingenious design. You could say it was the Tesla of evil alien Death Gliders. But speaking of the design, humans actually improved upon the Death Glider in their reverse engineered version of this ship, the F-302 Fighter Interceptor. Just like in real life, where humans reverse engineer alien technology at Area 51 to create fighter aircraft, in Stargate, humans reverse engineer alien technology at Area 51 to create fighter aircraft. Now, their first attempt was the X-301, which had a mind of its own. It flew off into space during the first test flight. This was because it was made with components from 2 Goa'uld fighters taken from Apophis Mothership by SG-1. There was a recall device embedded in those components, and it was activated and started flying the ship back to Goa'uld space. So they tried again, and this time created a ship that was also reverse engineered from Goa'uld technology, but was created entirely with human manufactured components, the X-302. The X-302 had 4 different sets of engines, including a rocket booster for reaching space, and a hyperdrive which Goa'uld Death Gliders lacked. The X-302 featured an armament including railguns and guided missiles, which were better at hitting their target than the Goa'uld staff weapons. And in terms of size, it was quite a lot bigger than a Death Glider. Here it is next to the Death Glider and Uncle Cletus's pickup truck, and let's throw in a Winnebago as well. Alright, now let's get into some bigger ships. Ras Pyramid Ship. This is the ship that you see in the original movie landing on top of the pyramid at Abydos. Now obviously people online are talking about how big this ship is because why wouldn't you? This guy wrote an article on the best WordPress site ever. He says the pyramid on Abydos, which is the same size as the Great Pyramid in Egypt, is 756 feet wide and 481 feet high. From the footage of the ship landing and taking off later in the film, I would say it's about 1.3 times the size of the pyramid, so it would be 932 feet wide and 625 feet high. That makes it a little under half the height of the Empire State Building, so next to the New York skyline, it would look like this. Now, Ra's ship was destroyed with a nuclear weapon in the movie, But that wasn't the end of the Goa'uld, I mean the Goa'uld. Hartak-class Mothership. So the Hartak-class Mothership was the mainstay of the Goa'uld fleet in the Milky Way galaxy. It was used to attack and enslave worlds. And this thing was pretty big. It carried 12 wings of Death Gliders, 2,000 Jaffa troops, and it had a cargo capacity of 700,000 tons. In contrast, average container ships carry about 25,000 tons of cargo, so we're talking about 28 times the cargo capacity of one of these ships. The ship measured 700 meters long by 650 meters wide and 315 meters tall. Going back to New York, it was about 3/4 the height of the Empire State Building, and this is what it would look like in Dubai. Hartak-class ships possessed shields that could withstand nuclear weapons, but if you could get inside and plant C4 explosives all over the ship, it was game over. Next, Apophis Mothership. Our old friend Apophis, probably one of the most highly strung, irritable people you've ever met.
You are my son. I am not Kalma.
Well, he ended up with this fantastic mothership after he defeated the Goa'uld system lord known as Sokar. Some dude on the internet who made this chart thinks that it's about 2,000 meters wide. So going with that, in New York, it would look like this, if that's really the correct sizing. But if you thought Apophis was bad, check out the owner of our next ship, Anubis Mothership. So Anubis was this very old Goa'uld system lord who even the Goa'uld themselves thought was a psycho. He wanted to be a Sith lord or something.
I am Anubis. Humans of the Tau'ri. Your end of days finally approaches. There will be no mercy.
Oh, come on. Who talks like that?
It was like he was cosplaying. He really got into the character.
You will bow to my awesome power.
And what do all evil lords need? A ship. Anubis' mothership was another ship that was also 2,000 meters long, or wide because it was round, so basically the same. And it had a central superweapon.
The ship's weapons are now fully powered.
Did he just finish watching Return of the Jedi? I mean, super weapons, and even his accent and his choice of words mimic that of the Emperor.
You are gravely mistaken.
You will find that it is you who are mistaken.
Anyway, let's see what this weapon could do. So it could take out a whole fleet of ships with a few shots, and could also cause huge destruction on a planet's surface from orbit. Anyway, at around 2,000 meters wide, hovering over Paris, it would look something like this. Alright, I'm sick of the Goa'uld system lords. Let's look at something human, finally. The USS Daedalus. This was a Daedalus-class ship and the second-generation battle cruiser developed by the United States military, so Earth could enforce freedom across the galaxy. And it was a pretty formidable ship featuring Asgard hyperdrive and shields. It was armed with railguns, missiles, and later on Asgard plasma weapons. Anyway, let's get to the important part. How big was it? Well, it was 225 meters long, which makes it a very similar length to Tower Bridge in London, which was 244 meters long. And if you put it next to a United States Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, it would be about 2/3 of the length. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Stargate content, please leave your comments below. Give this video a like, it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I'm currently binge watching the series, so I do have to make it a little bit further before I start doing more videos on other alien races and stuff, but it is coming, so let me know if you want it, and I'll bring it. Alright, please subscribe if you're new. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.